Howdy, everybody. Oh, what's Billy doing now?
Yeah, don't pay attention to that.
You're live, you know, right?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
We like looking like bumbling dummies.
Oh, good. Perfect.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
We're not helping.
I don't know why. I got no pressure sensitivity, but we'll just move forward. Hi. What are we doing here today, Blair?
Okay, so we're going to have a little fun interactive exercise with all of our viewers that showed up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, everybody, what we want to do in this next hour is design a discipline. And Billy is going to make us some art for it. And you can see here's a bunch of the artwork that he did for the current round of disciplines. Hey, what's the one with the guy with the knife in his back?
That one was... I don't remember. There's so many that we did. I have it written down somewhere. The one, let's just call it backstab.
Well, you know which one we can talk about because everyone in the office keeps talking about it. And it's right in the center of the screen, is the 3 jalapenos.
Oh, the 3 jalapenos. Shrivel? Wither. No, wither.
Wither.
3 jalapenos.
Right there. I mean...
It's right in the middle. It is, in fact, 3 jalapenos.
I don't understand why it's important that we know or care about like what type of fruit or vegetable it is. The fact that it's withered, it's kind of shrivelly looking. I think that works. Also, later on, if we have like a spicy jalapeno power that like makes you run fast or something, we'll just repurpose it and give it a different frame.
Okay, and if you look over to the right there, we have, like, I really like the Kraken, which is for Dirge Dissonance, which is one of the Troubadour songs.
Yeah, on some of these, and I'll actually show you the production file for a lot more of our powers. Some of these are a lot more basic and iconic, like for instance, this one right here is an elemental. The one I'm pointing at is this one with a lightning bolt. It's an elemental passive. It gives you kind of buffs to a few different kind of elemental powers. And
yep.
So we use like a really generic kind of like lightning bolt. And but for the Troubadour ones, especially the ones that have to do with like the gods or something that has like a narrative kind of component.
Yep.
Those are the ones that I like to go just a little bit further in and like actually either put a little character or try to get some like dynamic poses in there. There's not a whole lot of them, so those are the ones that I like to kind of spend some style points on. Same thing with the Banshee ones. So we have like Ghost Army right here.
Yep.
And then this one is Haunt, I believe.
Yep.
And you know, those are just they're a little bit more fun to just kind of get some cool, creepy detail in there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like I said, if anybody is curious,
look at that screen.
Yeah. So we've been, you know, I'll start at the top corner and kind of work down. So we've been building on this this production file for many months now. Actually, almost a year. And over that time, we've just built so many symbols for the various, you know, previously archetype powers. Now they're more race and class powers. And so what we should do today is maybe give people a bit of a recap of kind of our visual language for the icons, and then let's design a discipline and let's build some powers. All right, cool. So first things first. This is kind of our guide. I don't know if you want to talk about the categories of powers and how we kind of came to them.
Well, I mean, a lot of people very, very simply know what a buff is, right?
Yeah.
Right? Up triangle, it's a buff. So if you see a power do that, if you actually saw the disciplines probably, what was it, 2 weeks ago? They were all just these symbols. So we knew what they did based on just looking at the symbol, and then Lars and Billy came in and started laying the interesting thematic art on top of these.
Yeah, so the core, if we talk about the order of operations for building a power, first of all, you know, we have to design it and stuff, but visually, you know, what we ask first is, you know, what's the main purpose of this power? Because a lot of powers actually have kind of combination effects, right? But every single one kind of has like a primary purpose, right? Is it an attack? Is it a buff? Is it a debuff? Is it a CC? And that's kind of where we start. So once we figure out what a power is supposed to, like what its leading factor is, that's when we decide on the shape of the framing. So we don't even we don't design the white art at all at that point. We just we figure out what frame makes the most sense, and then we generate that piece of art so we can get it into the project. We assign it to a power, and then that way the design team can actually go and prototype inside the game without basically the UI team slowing everything down. And at kind of our leisure, we'll get to the actual art, and that's when we can add cool little narrative details to
click
it.
on maybe later so we can get.
Yeah.
Yep.
So going back to this, each type of power has a shape and also a color association.
So yeah, for those who have never really dove into this, we don't randomly just assign pretty art to the powers. We definitely want you to just be able to look at the shape and the color and know exactly what it does. So if you see a downward triangle that's purple, you know that ability is going to be a debuff.
Yeah,
right.
It's specifically it's an effect that you do to someone else that has a negative value, and then the inverse of that is the upward triangle. That is it's usually a self. Sometimes it's for group, but I think we have like the upward pentagon.
We haven't done a lot of group stuff before the disciplines.
Yeah.
So it may be that we need to expand the language coloring a bit, such that it's maybe a blue or whatever. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah. Square.
Square definitely means damage.
Yeah, damage, and specifically melee damage. Diamond is damage, but it's range damage. And we wanted it to look like an arrow point, or feel like it's like kind of like this forward-moving thing. Anyways, we don't have to dissect the shape so much, but we went through and created a shape language, and then on top of that, you create a color language. So anything that has an offensive capability is red, to let you know that this is a dangerous attack.
If it's AOE.
If it's AOE, so if it can hit 3 or more targets, the red becomes an orange. So not only is there kind of like a shape hierarchy, but there's also a color hierarchy. So if you have a melee attack that can hit multiple targets, instead of being red, it becomes orange. If you have a buff or a debuff, or even a CC or group CC that has any healing properties, basically the green tint of the healing trumps everything else.
Yes.
Yeah. So because in the few cases that you want specifically a healing ability, we want you to know that right away. Okay.
Yeah, and it's great because I've worked on lots of projects, and the icon is just, it tells you nothing, right? It's a pretty piece of art,
yeah,
and you have to go learn it anyways.
Well, we went down that route. We had really painterly icons, and then we went to something that was a little bit more graphic, but was still illustrative. And then when you shrink these things down, they just lose readability. And it's one thing if your game only, for instance, in other like competitive games or arena-based games where your character has a really small moveset, that's okay. You can kind of go a little crazier with that, because that power becomes branded to that character. Well, in our game, classes and archetypes, and then our classes and races, and then hundreds. I'm talking in the past month we generated over 200 different new power icons. After a while, it becomes inefficient to do them painterly, but even then, even if we had an army of artists making these beautiful paintings, I still think that they would fall short of where our icons are now, because, we just get right to the point of the power, Okay, anyhow, so...
that's just a little background.
So what we can do is we can start by... What are we creating? We're going to create a new major discipline?
So the audience, what we would like you to do in Twitch chat is let's come up with a cool major discipline to design.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and then we'll make the powers for it, and Billy is going to come up with the art for us.
Yeah, and hopefully if I can't get pressure sensitivity, I'll work around it somehow.
Just push really hard.
As a recap, what we want to do right now is we want to kind of create maybe like conceptually like a new major discipline. I'll see if I could just rough out like a little rune symbol based on that, and then if you see here in this
werewolf
in this example tooltip here, we have like kind of like this list of powers. Ideally, we can get around to doing those as well. So let's come up with a rune, and then let's come up with some powers.
Dual shields, thief, werewolf, ice magic, necromancer, so that's more of like a Diablo necromancer with summoning pets. Mule skinner. What? A thief who would wield 2 shields.
White.
Fencer. Everyone is jumping in on the dual shields.
All right, I think I can work with that line weight. Should be fine. All right, what are we thinking of?
The Hey Blair rune.
So a little bit about what I'm doing is I have kind of a production template here where I can have like square icons, and then I've got a center line. If I'm working with symmetry or whatever, sometimes I like having a little guideline. So that
Yeah, I'm just Berserker, Corruption Eater, Necromancer with a spear and a shield. Siphoner, Soul Stealer, Falconry. Falconry or Pet Mastery, those definitely sound interesting.
Let me see here. I'm gonna restart Photoshop real quick while Blair decides.
Wolf Summon.
I love me some werewolf, but maybe we save that one when we aren't on the spot. That would be cool. The rune stone, the rune symbol could be like a full moon, like a howling wolf in the middle.
Yeah, that. But if you remember some of your older art, remember the very first the Templar. She had. Remember the falcon on her arm, or was that a Larissa?
Larissa did that illustration, but the little emblem.
Yeah. So again, we're coming up with a theme here, and around that theme, we're going to come up with a couple iconic powers. This is how we kind of did all of the majors, or sometimes we started the other end and said, "Hey, I have a really cool power. Where would this fit?" And we ended up building a theme around that. I think Naiad was one of those ones.
I'm like, why is my window not showing up?
Swashbuckler. Swashbuckler is very similar to Duelist. Bird punching, the direct counter to falconry.
I don't know where my canvas went. This is highly embarrassing.
Billy lost his canvas somehow.
Where is he?
Warg theme. Instantly banning your target. No. Brewmaster. Oh, Billy's punching a lot of buttons here.
Some weirdness happening with Photoshop. And if I can't get Photoshop to work, I'm gonna use Illustrator.
Indiana Jones, huh? Oh. Deployable turret is a power, but I could definitely see a bunch of, or a discipline engineer around that.
There we go. Oh, and I have pressure sensitivity. Thank you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Now I can make slightly prettier art. Slightly. I won't give myself that much credit.
The topic for whoever asked that question is we're coming up with a discipline to design, and Billy's going to come up with the icons for us.
Yeah.
And we may or may not put this in game.
I think we should. But then again, that's just me.
Yeah, and
we're generally a yes kind of guy. Yeah, let's just put it in.
Yeah, let's just build that. Succubus sounds interesting if you could think of some good powers to go along with it.
Ooh.
But we don't have summons.
Oh yeah, for like familiars and stuff?
Yeah.
But what if we did? I can imagine like a runestone. The thing about the runestones is you can't have too much detail on them because you want them to look like they were hand etched. Think of like a hieroglyph or something. I mean, what are we doing? Are we doing succubus? Are we doing werewolf? Am I just sketching?
You're sketching right now.
Yeah, we do something. Interesting thing about that.
I like Screelinks. This one just makes itself.
It's like it looks almost angelic except for like the bat wings, which is kind of a fun dichotomy.
Yeah. Screelings is definitely a lot of passives for Thief or non-combat powers.
Ooh, that's fun. It's almost like she's got.
However, you're already drawn. You're just like, Succubus, I like this idea.
No, I did. When we sketch, we sketch a lot, man.
Yeah.
Like, when we come up with these powers, these are really rough and gross, but if you want to see kind of where a lot of these sketches
Oh,
start.
I like the one with the mask. What was that?
Which one?
This one right here.
This one?
No, the one to the left of that.
This one?
One below it.
This one?
Yes. Where did that one end up going?
Oh, so these are variants of Haunt.
Oh, okay.
And on these, you see like how I mean, they're really rough because I take them in Illustrator and I clean them up. But you see like anything that's symmetrical, I'll render out one half of it so I can tell where my highlights and shadows are. No, I was just riffing on Haunt. I did a couple versions of them, and then I kind of ended up on this one because I thought once I laid it out, it made for a really good icon. That's the thing. It's like I don't want to go too far into like illustration territory for these things because they end up pretty small. Anyhow, so Succubus, a kind of happy accident happened here where she almost looks like she's got these like kind of like giant horns. You think like remember Legend?
Yeah.
Tim Curry style.
Tim Curry.
So it's like she's holding her hands forward. It's really just a few lines. She's got like her hands forward. You see kind of like that's either a dress or so like hips kind of bowing out, and then horns and like these wings. That's kind of sweet. But we can do something else.
No, okay. Right next to that one.
Yeah.
Draw a thief.
A thief. Okay. So with thieves, let's see. Whenever I think thief, I think one of two things. Either like stealthy sneaking through the shadows or like a coin bag, right? Like they're a pickpocket. So the icon can be something like it's like a stylized little money bag or something. Looks almost like a flame.
So this would be the symbol for the major discipline.
Yeah. That's
the runestone.
Yeah, I would start there just to kind of get a sense of, really order of operations. The user's going to get the stone, and then it unlocks the powers. So I think most of the runestones ended up being like these little stylized people more than anything else. Like I don't think I used that many like. There's a couple that are like objects, like it was either the troubadour or the bard that had like
instruments.
The instrument, but then a lot of the other people, like the archer, was like a stylized person holding a bow and arrow.
Or shield breaker.
So it was like a thief.
Why does Billy still have the Windows Store pinned to his taskbar?
It's for my Windows 10 games.
Blair, is there already an engineer type toon? No, there is in fact not. However, with the discipline tech, I totally want to build something. We can make very strong major disciplines now around a theme using 4-ish powers. And that seems to be kind of the formula that we came out with. All right, Screelings, what do you got for Thief? Oh, yeah. Shield Breaker is one of the majors that we definitely put in as part of this. And it is the anti-shield powers. Will there be instruments in game? We're playing around with some of the stuff for the Bard and the Troubadour.
See if I can get away with a little bit of a symmetrical one here.
Shoplift, stab a foe for 1 damage, and gain 1 inventory item at random.
That's kind of fun.
That would be fun in a.
For the thief.
For the thief, for the person who is losing an item every time.
What if it's an instance of the item? That way the person who gets ganked.
Well, then you're just replicating items. You really can't be cloning all of your items like that. It would destroy the economy.
But what if we could?
Well, if it was a single player game, sure.
All right. I mean, I don't have to finish the runestone design. I'm just kind of getting some ideas down. We can move to powers. If we like Thief, we can develop some powers because, yeah, we're already like halfway through the slot.
It's treasure hunter, not thief.
Want a treasure hunter? Is
No,
that-
I'm just reading. Blair does stunning interrupt a song. Tinnis, it should. Any of our hard CCs like knockdowns and stuns should. Songs are technically toggle powers. That's some of the new tech we got. It should stop any powers that are toggled to the on state.
This treasure hunter, I'd make him wearing like a fedora.
Are you just gonna flip him?
Yeah, man.
I saw that coming.
Just for the time being, I just want to see what it ends up looking like. It's kind of dumb looking. Yeah, man.
I like how artists do that. They always like to, man, this sucks. And I'm like, I couldn't draw that if I tried.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like a rune. Like runes look like this. There's like.
Okay, so that's a good power scree. Will all those powers have to be
like a beluga
retoggled, or do you have to manually re-enable? So, of the toggle types that we put in right now, the one toggle group we have is songs. And if it only, even though you can twist, and I'll show twisting in the next hour when I do disciplines with Mark Hallish, the last one that you played is the current toggled on power. So even though you have 4 buffs on you, because the buffs last anywhere between 12 and 18 seconds based on how long one of your, if you've got the minor, I think it's duration. I can't remember what it's called. But that gives you another 6 seconds of the duration of it. There's still only one that is toggled on that will automatically refresh every 6 seconds.
Make him like an angry bird.
Oh, look at
Look at
that.
that little angry bird.
Oh, that's more like a samurai.
Yeah.
And now I see a beacon there.
It's like a Yamato style. Hey, yeah, why don't we have a samurai discipline?
Because people have been giving thief ideas and not samurai
But it
ideas.
looks like a samurai. Let's tailor the design to the art.
So yeah, this happens. You're like, hey, you know what? Let's just make him a samurai instead of a thief, because Billy couldn't draw it.
Yep. You got that right.
But you know what? I see the beak now too.
Now let's take away the beak. I mean, it could always just be a big money bag.
No, I actually like the idea of the two.
Look, oh, did you see that? That was one
Somebody
line.
just said dual knife falcon here.
That was one line, and then we can just like, boom, Scrooge McDuck bag. Anyhow, okay. The rune stone symbol is just one component. All right, so did we figure out which powers we're gonna do? Oh, wait a minute. I make them have like a little smiley face. Hi.
Yeah, we're gonna do tie shoelaces.
All right, so this is like an espionage type.
Yeah, so tie shoelaces. I think what that's gonna do is it's gonna put a debuff on the target.
All right.
And every time they move, they have a chance to be knocked down.
All right. So a debuff being a triangle.
Yep.
Just kind of get that in there. I could do like a dude going, like falling forward. Ah. It's like, ah.
Oh, look at that. I see it now.
This is so terrible. No, he looks like Atlas trying to hold something up.
Now, do you normally start with the symbol in the background like that when you're doing this, or
A lot of times.
do you just draw the illustration
Well,
and then kind of map it on top of the
A
symbol?
lot of times I find it that I'll get it to like fit better inside the frame if I give myself just like a little guideline. Probably better to maybe even show like 1 foot. And like the other one.
Show like 2 boots and then the laces are tied together.
Yeah, just kind of make it a little bit more literal on this particular one, just because it. Yeah, you can do something like that.
And believe it or not, with the tech that we made for, there's a discipline passive called Take Root, and then there's one of the weapon mastery ones that the Confessor gets. I think it's Tome or Book Mastery, maybe. It has a while standing still component, which is while they're standing still, they regenerate zealotry and mana at an increased rate. And the Take Root one is healers get 20% more healing as long as they're standing still, also 5% defensive. But with that tech, we can now detect when you're standing still or when you're moving. So we could definitely do this. This thing has a chance to fire every time you're moving.
Yeah, so.
So we could actually build this one. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. I'm just gonna give myself a little reverse tone reference. It's nice as I know this isn't very maybe exciting to watch, but when you get it in Illustrator, I can add in a lot more of the little details and cuts. I just kind of need the general.
Okay, so you just make the shapes in Photoshop and then you take it over to Illustrator?
Yeah, because each one of these icons we end up using in a couple different scenarios. And so I like to keep it resolution independent. That's kind of for anyone who doesn't know the difference between Photoshop and Illustrator. Illustrator makes vector art, and vector art is resolution independent. So I can make a piece of art, and then I can output it at any pixel resolution that I want without losing quality. So
Okay.
It's really beneficial for marketing art and for icons, especially if they're going to end up showing up in a couple different places. It means that I don't have to necessarily optimize for one resolution.
And did you hurt yourself? Yeah, it's very easy for us to increase our stealth stat on these characters. It doesn't take a power to do that. Normally, we would build that in as the stat on the discipline. Could you pull up a discipline again really quick, Billy? Did you have one in the background? Like one of the finished ones?
These guys?
Yeah. So you'll notice every single one of the disciplines has a stat that's on there. That is an experimentable stat, so the crafter will be able to raise that stat. And on something like the Thief rune, we would give it an increased amount of stealth.
Mm-hmm.
So you're harder to detect. Just an aside.
Yep. So I'm just let me carve in just a skosh more detail here. And I imagine if you're really tying someone's laces, it's coming from the top, right?
It depends on the
On the type of shoe.
It depends on the type of shoe.
It might read better from the top. So let me just prototype that real quick. It's really nice about having to only worry about black and white, or like a single color and white, is coming up with these blockouts. It's just really easy to just kind of switch between black and white and paint in the negative color.
Yeah, pickpocket, I would also give them. So pickpocket, but we would need to decide what you could pickpocket.
Here we go. There's a nice little empty spot here in the middle, and I think that's where we should put the knot, right?
Okay, yeah. You could just
or it looks like a Christmas present. I don't know. You're a thief. You're like a Robin Hood thief. You bring shoes to the poor. That sounds like Crowfall, right? Nice, helping people. All right, we want pickpocket.
Yeah.
All right, pickpocket is
So like a hand reaching into into somebody else, or a hand reaching into a coin purse, or
I would even say like maybe even just a coin purse. Like that's what I'm saying. Like too much like interaction between things, I think, is hard to read. I can draw someone putting their hand in something or their hand emerging.
I love
from
making
a pocket.
artists draw hands, and I tell this to all the artists. I ask for hands all the time because so many of them have a hard time drawing hands. And pros like Billy, he's like, whatever. But you always go, hey, I need a hand on this icon.
There, coins. Coins. It looks like cow udders. Oh my god. Ah, milkmaid discipline. No?
No. No.
What?
No.
Oh, what? Our animals don't produce milk? I'm saying lost opportunity.
Yeah, see somebody else. Hands are the worst to draw.
All right, what is that? Is that a debuff? Is that a...
So this would be me opening your inventory. So this is more like a... this would be a new type. This is kind of like an interaction one. This would be a passive.
Okay.
Right, because it's basically unlocking the ability. I could basically go up behind a target and F to interact on them, and it would open their inventory for me to see. So it would. I'm certain this would be a passive. It's just basically unlocking a skill type.
You have like a hand.
So what we're building here is we're building a major discipline that you guys are suggesting powers for. So far we have pickpocket and we have tie shoelaces for a thief major discipline. And it's also going to give stats that increase your stealth stat, which makes you harder to detect.
All right, so if a thief, he's got maybe fingerless gloves.
And one of the challenges with a discipline like this is it's not all about combat. And the disciplines we're going to be building in the future are a lot of what we call exploration ones that will have, ooh, yeah, I like that, have a new piece of tech assigned to it that is like the scout stuff or the bounty hunter stuff, tracking essentially. And those will probably end up being triggered by a passive that you load out into your passive slots.
Just thinking of this is kind of a large item. Maybe it's coming out of a satchel instead of a pocket. See, satchels are less weird because then you're just like a creeper going around putting your hand in other people's pockets in game, and you don't want that. You don't want to know that that's happening. So let's just say that this is coming out of like a satchel, little side bag.
Well, you could also do a chat log message like, Billy is looking at your stuff.
Billy's hand is in.
Billy's hand is in your pockets.
I'm not saying it.
Yeah, okay, let's make some rules for this so people don't get all bent out of shape about this one. Let's just say it's small objects and we flag specific things that can be pickpocketed. Like, let's say blueprints for houses. How'd you like to lose your house because someone pickpocketed it from you? Or ethereal dust. That seems kind of light that could be pickpocketed. Probably not swords and let's just say armor, because that's awfully big to be pickpocketed. But basically very small things. Billy's reaching into your pants. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Billy. Potions?
You're setting a terrible example for the chatters.
Potions, food, discipline runes. Yeah, those are all great suggestions.
Blair is like Ron Burgundy. He's just reading anything on the teleprompter right now.
That's what the teleprompter is for, right?
Sure.
It wouldn't come up on the teleprompter if it wasn't already pre-screened. Let's just say, Screelings, that it would be unequipped discipline runes and not equipped ones. Because basically when you equip a discipline rune, it's fusing it to that vessel. If I roll a 20, I should be able to take whatever I want. Billy is touching your stones. Nice. Billy can reach into my pants anytime.
Sweet.
Okay.
That's the nicest thing I've heard all day.
Okay, so let's start thinking about an additional power, because generally these things come with, like I said, 3 to 4 powers. So we've got a passive, which enables you to pick pockets of small and light quality things. We have a combat debuff that can be used from stealth, that doesn't take you out of stealth, that is tie shoelaces.
All right.
At Blair, is money still going to be a thing? Ethereal dust is going to end up being the currency, I'm fairly certain. That's why it comes from everything.
Maybe I can work with this sketch. I'd probably want to do a few
Well,
variants.
that's an interesting one because that's a buff. Avoid traps, but we don't really have a lot of... We don't have like a trap system yet, so that's a good one if we had traps.
Do like...
Um,
you know, how do like the bear traps look? I don't know how bear traps look. I think this might be a little how they look.
Yeah, but we don't have traps.
No. But then we Ghostbuster it. Boom. No traps.
You just wanted to draw the no traps.
I know.
Okay.
Oh, the trap is clean.
Grappling hook is a good one.
Ooh, I like that. Would it be just kind of like the 3-prong style?
So we have a way to do a ground targeting reticle now.
Mm-hmm.
We would use that ground targeting reticle to draw on the top of a wall or whatever, and you would essentially grapple up to the top of a wall. So it's good for getting inside the enemy keep once they've built the walls.
Now the challenge of that one, okay, so
that one's not a buff or a debuff.
that one is a movement one. In our movement language, we've updated recently to look like this. It's like the 2 dash lines.
Yeah.
Like we were running out of shapes. So like that one, yeah, it looks kind of sporty. You know, diagonal lines make things look exciting.
Yeah.
And sporty. And usually better.
I like how Wabais is saying like how Ganeshans can burrow under it supposedly. Give us time, man. I mean, we'll get to it.
All right. It's a nice thing too. I could just kind of like paste the shape in there for my ref. All right, what are we talking about now?
The grappling hook.
All right, okay, so first of all, pickpocket. Does that look kind of like?
Yeah, it looks like you're pulling. It looks like you're pulling scrolls out of.
It scrolls. I was thinking, you know, it's a little like a wallet. Looks like you're pulling a little bit of a wallet out, but we don't have wallets. But it could be a map.
It could be a blueprint or a map.
Could be. I put your house. I own your house now because I have its blueprint. All right, grappling hook. So.
And what was that weapon that Todd really liked? The ninja one with the Karagami? Someone correct me. It's the one with the hook and the ball chain. Come on. Help me out, chat. It's not a billy hook.
So I'm just getting my ref here, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, a Kursagami.
let's do something like that. This is terrible. Everyone can see how terrible I am.
Yeah, it's the Kursagami. That would be a cool power to
Samurai.
Yeah, it's kind of like a ninja thiefy kind of thing. I don't know. It'd be a ranged attack. It could. That would be an active one that you would put in your non-stealth tray. So again, we're trying to mix it up. So when you look at a discipline, the powers are a themed package, and we kind of like go, okay, this one's on the passive tray, especially for the stealth ones. This one goes in the stealth tray. This one would go on their active tray. That way they have a choice of a couple things to pick from on the discipline.
This is where ref comes in handy.
There you go.
There we go. Just so you can have your window back. I just want to see the curve of the hook. Grapple hook. Ah, see? It's like an upside down fishing lure.
That one looks pretty wicked though.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
I like that one. See, now that's good. I need something like that. All right, so where are we? How are we on time? Oh, we're short on time. I don't think we're gonna be able to vectorize any of these.
Can we vectorize one of them?
Yeah.
Quick, draw a really quick sketch of a grapple.
I'm trying to get it to where I can switch between Photoshop and my grapple hook fast. There we go. Just want to get that reference. So it's like a more simple kind of hook. And then I actually think the grapple hook might be the fastest to vectorize just because it's got a lot more geometric shapes, but maybe not the coolest one to vectorize.
It's definitely not as cool as the hand into the pocket.
You want the pickpocket? You want to torment me with the hand stuff? All right, yeah. Dude, man, let's party. I already look like I don't know what I do, so let's keep it going. All right.
What if the hook was a mechanical hand? Would be a little more comical. Plus, Billy would have to draw another hand.
I'm not afraid of hands.
Yeah, Billy's not afraid of hands. He's pro.
I like hands. Hands are fun. You know what? We don't even have to show the rope. We could just show the just the cool tip of it, because then when we composite it into an icon, it's got like a really nice framing border that encapsulates the whole thing, and I think that little diamond down will feel cool.
Yeah, I love the breaking of the frame on all of these. I think it adds so much to these icons.
They feel more exciting.
They do.
And one of the rules that I previously had said was that passives did not break frames, so that they felt more contained and, passive. But then Lars started breaking the frames, and then they look awesome. So I'm just like, yeah, we'll just break the frame. If it looks right, it is right. We can make as many rules as you want, and then you'll break them all because you'll figure out that there's a cooler way to do things. All right. So anyways, okay, so we could make that the third icon. So, okay, we have about 10 minutes. You want me to see if I can just really quickly turn this one into...
yeah, let's see what we can do in 10 minutes. Well, we'll have to set up... I'll have to depart here in a minute to grab my laptop.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be doing the next demo as well.
All right, so let's just get them in here. All right, so workflow, anyone who's a art production person, maybe you do it this way, maybe not. I'll paste my ref right in there. A slightly different transparency so I can see what I'm drawing.
So basically what you're doing now is you're translating it from your sketch mode into what people would see in game.
Yeah.
On top of the actual
This
icon.
would be the actual final art that I'm working on here. And sketches they shouldn't take too long. All right, so part of the benefit of blocking out the light and shadow means that I can kind of just come in here and just start basically just paint the white areas, and I just use a pen tool to just point to point click. And if you're wondering why it's this kind of nasty green color, it's like when you work in an AutoCAD program, you want to have a really garish, high contrast color for your lines so that you kind of know where you're drawing. Yay, fun.
Everyone believes in you, Billy. So you can do it.
Thank you.
Hey, here's an illusionist power. False threat. Creates an AoE circle. It does nothing, but it looks very scary.
That's kind of fun. Like, it just throws you off guard.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
I mean, confusion tactics like that they're pretty effective. Like the squid power in Mario Kart.
Yeah, especially if it looks like the Templar one, which they're trained to get out of right now. Because if you don't, bad things happen. Or, some people just stand in it and just take damage.
All right, so the stuff that I've outlined. I can block in the color, and in a second you'll see I'll put it on the, this will eventually be white on a dark background. What's our time, Blair?
1:54. I'm gonna go get my laptop.
You do it.
I'll be right back because I'm doing the next segment, like I said.
If anyone asks questions, Max, let me know. I'm just gonna trace my art. I hope the people watching like to do art. If not, you should get into it. Art's fun. I see messages coming through. Anything?
Mithra Gaming asked if you'd be okay with singing "I'm a Little Teapot."
No. Look, I've already got my hand in everyone's pockets right now. I don't want to incriminate myself further.
True. Did you hurt yourself? Asked, how long have you been drawing?
For the past 55 minutes. I just started.
It's your first stab at it?
I mean, all my life, and yet I have not improved. I don't know how that happened. It's funny how that works.
Have you been drawing since you were a little kid?
Absolutely. It's all I ever wanted to do, and I was lucky enough to find work in it.
Is that what you do?
Is that what I do?
Hiriel asked, Billy, if you could add one UI or UX feature, regardless of time or resources, what would it be?
I've definitely said this before, and it'll make it in at some point, but really extensive HUD customization options. I think that would make a lot of people's lives happy. I think it would make a lot of disabled people able to play our game with full authority over its feature set, and I think that would be really, really fun. Because I think, broaden the audience as far as possible, make sure everyone can just jump in and have a good time. And right now there's definitely some barriers to entry. But all that stuff's in the works. Tell you what, I'm not too far away from being done, so just bear with me. Normally I would take a little longer and maybe safeguard some of these lines by making them multiple parts, but I'm just drawing them all out. And hopefully it'll look like something. All right. My little teapot, short and stout. I can't believe I'm singing this song. I have a horrible tendency to please people and their ridiculous requests. Like Blair's request to get me to draw hands. I'll have you know, Blair.
That is cruel. Hands
This hand right here, these hands, all this right up here. You see these, Blair? Where's the fist bump? Those guys?
Yeah.
Those were all straight freehand vector, no sketch, no nothing.
Ooh, I like those jalapenos.
Just letting you know, man, jalapenos make things good. It's a spicy power set.
Spicy.
All right,
Caliente discipline.
let's see where we're at on this. All right, now that I've got this, let me give it a circular background real quick, just so we can see what we're working with. What color would you say this is, Blair? You think it's a passive?
Yeah, it's a passive.
All right, our new passive color is plum.
Plum.
So let me make this white now so we can see if we look like a little hand picking something out of what looks to be like a little lunch bag. Like maybe it's a note from your mom.
Is he stealing someone's lunch?
I think he's stealing someone's note from their mom. Like, have a good day, honey. But that kid's never gonna know. He's never gonna know. He's gonna think his mom still is mad at him, and then he's not gonna do good.
Maybe this kid doesn't get enough love.
He's not gonna learn good.
That's so sad. He's like a villain who steals. letters from people's moms out of their lunchboxes?
Yeah.
Because he needs to feel that love so desperately, or?
Oh my gosh. Okay, here, let me find a passive. Wait, I have it on my desktop probably.
Oh, Huriel said he's putting a love note in someone's bag.
Oh, it's the other way.
It's the
Oh
other
my
way
god,
around.
that is romantic.
It's a reverse pickpocket.
All right. So, can I have another minute or two to get him on an actual frame?
Sure.
All right. All right, so this will act as my clipping mask, so I can get all those nasty little edges that were hanging out. Now they're all contained inside of a circle.
Look at that.
And I'll just use this circle up here since it's ready. Let me just scale it down. See, like I said, the nice thing about vector is that you can lose.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yep. Is that you can scale completely freely without compromising the quality of the work. It's going to stay nice and crisp. So that's why I was able to bring that sketch in and just kind of work at whatever scale I wanted. And yeah, I mean, like I'd probably touch it up a little bit from here, but I mean, pretty much that's the process for making these icons.
That is pretty cool.
We kind of just come up with a sketch really quick and bring it in here, and what the balance it needs here is that there's some of the details kind of get muddy, so I'd create more contrast, but in general, there it is. I would take the rest of them and do the same thing. So that's Pickpocket, which may or may not be in the game at some point.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to clear out of here and set up for the next bit, which is disciplines. And Mark Hallish and I will be going over those. And then we just have to disassemble Billy here really quick and swap out.
Don't take me apart. I'm alive.
Yeah, thanks, Billy.
Sir.
That was pretty cool.